This is the third edition of the Hyderabad Literary Festival that we have been holding for the last 3 days. That is the January 18th, 19th and 20th of the year 2013. Originally, we used to have smaller gatherings of writers in Hyderabad itself, which used to be mostly comprised of our local writers and authors, as well as a few who used to come from nearby cities like Chennai, Bangalore and Bombay. We had those muse meets, we used to call them muse meets, for 3 years before we thought we should scale up the level of participation of the writers so that the contemporary Indian writers, writing both in English as well as the regional languages, could be heard by the book lovers and literature lovers of not only the city of Hyderabad, but those who may come as delegates to these larger festivals. We chose to call it the Hyderabad Literary Festival because through it we wanted to project the culture of Hyderabad, a city that has always had a strong tradition historically as well as culturally. In terms of language, Hyderabad always had the original Dakhni Urdu that later became the kind of Urdu that is spoken today. And later we had an influx of Telugu population, particularly after Hyderabad city was converted into the capital city of Andhra Pradesh. And today we have a fairly good number of writers from different languages who are staying in the city: Urdu, Hindi, Telugu, and several other regional languages. We thought providing a platform like Hyderabad Literary Festival will be an opportunity for all these writers to showcase their work to a larger body of audience and readers, as well as to get an exposure to our regional literatures. We also felt that this could provide a forum where our local authors could interact with the writers from the national level, from the different parts of the country, as well as those who may come from the other countries. It is really nice to see this Hyderabad Literary Festival shape up very well in the last 3 years with participation of an increasing number of writers. The first year we had something like 80 to 85 poets and writers participating. The second year it went up to 100, and this year we have more than 125 writers participating. The motto that we selected for the Hyderabad Literary Festival was celebrating creativity. We wanted to bring focus on creativity not only in the literary form of writing, but in other fields of creative work like films, the stage, and cinema. There has been an effort to bring together talented people who have been working in these various forms of arts, thereby creating a forum where everyone could share what we call the pollination of ideas to take shape. So we have had very major personalities from different fields participating over the last 3 years. For instance, last year we had Guzdar Sahab and Saeed Mirza coming down from Bombay. We also had the local major artists like Ananda Shankar Jain, Alek Shapunjala, and other major dancers like Mangala Bhatt participating. Mangala Bhatt is participating in this particular festival. We have had film directors from the local film industry also participating. Last year we had Indraganti Mohan Krishna, the Telugu award-winning young director who came and shared his views. Thus, we have been creating a forum where creative people from various fields could come and work together, share together. From last year, the number of foreign delegates and foreign writers who have been coming and participating has been increasing, and this year we had almost 15 of them coming from faraway places like Australia, United States of America, Switzerland, France, and Germany. Because of the increasing interest of the other countries, writers from the other countries in the Hyderabad Literary Festival, we thought of inviting one particular country as our guest nation each time that we hold Hyderabad Literary Festival. Last year we had Germany as our guest nation, and Germany sent a few of its writers as well as a cultural troupe. That was actually a musical band that came and entertained us here. This year the guest nation is France, and quite a few French writers and artists have come, and we hope that in the coming years this will be rotated among the other countries. There have been serious interest from some of the other writers living in different countries to come and participate, and also to see their nations becoming the guest nations in the Hyderabad Literary Festivals. A new concept that we introduced this year is to bring a particular focus on one of the national languages of the country, and we have begun that focus by discussing Telugu literature this time. Telugu being the local language and also a fairly large number of writers and readers being here, we thought we shall begin with Telugu and thereafter move on to the other national languages. We would like to scale up the overall level of activity of the festival, both in terms of participation, not only among the national writers but also internationally. We would like to widen the scope of the creative fields that we have been talking about. Even though some of the creative artists have been coming and sharing their work, we would like more number of them from different fields to come and participate and interact. So by and large, we would like to build on whatever we have done so far and increase the reach of the festival. One thing that we have observed in the last couple of years is that there is an increasing awareness about the Hyderabad Literary Festival. Today, a fairly wide number of people, a very large population of Hyderabad knows about the Hyderabad Literary Festival, which was not the case earlier. And there is an increasing awareness among others in the country about this festival, and I am sure in the years to come more and more people from across the country will come and participate. And with that level of participation, we may have to involve more number of writers from other places also, so that the general level of interest is held high. A festival of this scale calls for a lot of preparatory work, and we start planning the festival, broader counters of the festival at least 8 to 9 months in advance. We start looking at the kind of people that we could invite this time, the kind of sessions that we could have, the kind of new innovation that could be brought into the festival each year. So this kind of general thinking starts almost 9 months ahead. And we start writing to various writers, particularly those living abroad, at least 6 months before the festival. Because for the international writers and even the writers among our own diaspora who are living in different countries, for them to plan and come, it takes quite several months of advanced planning. So we get their commitments at least 4 to 5 months in advance, and for that we have to start writing to them at least 6 months in advance. Once we have broadly covered the international writers, Then we start focusing and corresponding with the writers who are within the country but across the country. And finally, we bring focus on our local writers and authors depending upon the composition of the overall mix of writers that we have. In all this exercise, we do keep track of the themes that we would like to focus on and the kind of writers that we would like to gather. One major effort that we have been putting right from the first edition of Hyderabad Literary Festival is to bring young talented writers and young contemporary writers. Even this time we had a good number of young people who have been doing extremely well with their books. We have specially invited award-winning young writers. These awards could have been given by Sahitya Academy or by any other established institutions of the country. We keep track of them and invite a few of those budding writers to come and present their work. Apart from that, Muse India has its own national level literary awards given to the translation as well as young writers. We get an opportunity of inviting these writers to come and share their work. Muse India is a web journal that publishes various genres of literature like poetry, fiction, literary criticism, as well as book reviews. We carry conversation and interviews with authors, and through the media of this internet journal, we are able to reach a global audience who are interested in Indian literature. Authors TV is doing a similar work with a different perspective. Authors TV is projecting the authors, discussing with them about their books, what motivated them to write the books, or what were the factors that went into getting the book published, and such issues. This basically takes any reader or any viewer into the minds of the writers. Authors TV presents these to the wider readership on the internet, so that these are also available globally anywhere for those interested to know more about a particular book or even a particular author. I think in this aspect of reaching to a global audience through the power of the internet, both Muse India and Author TV have been doing somewhat similar work, in the sense that the work of both these agencies, both these institutions, are available on the internet for a global audience. While Author TV discusses and interviews writers on their specific books, Muse India covers more general literary genres like the poetry or fiction. But the ultimate aim is to reach the wider global readership by presenting details of the literary books and literary works.